על רקע האביב הערבי שהפך לחורף סוער, מעניין להיזכר בדברים שאמר לפני יותר מ-30 שנה נשיא מצרים דאז סאדת. בדצמבר ערך איתו העיתונאי רענן לוריה ראיון מיוחד בעבור תחנת טלוויזיה אמריקנית. בראיון הזה מדבר סאדת על מצרים, סוריה וקדאפי, וכך זה נשמע אז.
You need not at all commit the error of thinking that an officer will be in so and so time starting a revolution or a coup or so. No, we are civilized now. We have our permanent constitution, we have our system, we have our institutions. You need not fear at all from Egypt. Since since a very long time, I had this conflict with Gaddafi, but I never attach any importance to what he says. He is a mental case, the man. He is really, for that I don't attach any importance to what any importance at all to what he says or does. And he will never influence anyone in the Arab world at all.
Next, the conversation turned to the Israeli leaders, Begin and his predecessor, Rabin. Sadat said he was unsure whether Menachem Begin was trustworthy. It was President Ceausescu of Romania who persuaded him to trust Begin.
Lately, when I visited Romania and have a discussion with Ceausescu, I asked him two questions. I told him I want the answer after Begin's visit to Romania. Number one, is Begin genuine for peace or no? Number two, is he strong enough to do this? Because I know this process is a very complicated and a very hard one. But it can be a very, at the same time, it can be very easy whenever there is leadership and decision and a strong leader. Well, Ceausescu answered me. He said he had a talk with Begin for 6 hours, tete-a-tete.
Non-stop 6 hours?
No, on 2 days.
Oh, I see.
On 2 days. He has 6 hours tete-a-tete, and he has 2 hours in the delegation. He told me the details about his talks in the 6 hours with Begin, and he said, yes, the man is genuine for peace. Number two, the man is strong enough to take the decision. Because I know after all this mobilization in the public opinion in Israel and in the Arab world, it will be very difficult for that. One of the motives behind my initiative was this, that let us have a breakthrough in this vicious circle and once and for all get rid of it. So when I was sure of this, I started making my calculations for this initiative. With Rabin, it was different. Yes, Rabin, especially in the second disengagement agreement, proved that he is not a strong leader. The establishment of peace in the area this time, and as I told you, it is possible. And it is in our hands. And maybe I was thinking the same thing before I visited Jerusalem. But after the visit to Jerusalem, I can say that it is a fact, really a fact. Why do I tell you to take the risk? I'm telling you to take the risk because it will pay, because you shall have this 40 million people, 100% conscious to anything that happens and who will fight to fulfill...
For Israel?
No, will fight to fulfill their promise or to face anyone who is trying to undermine whatever we agree to.
It was the gamble of the century.
It was the gamble of the century. I quite agree with you. But I must tell you quite frankly, I know my people will agree to this, but not to this extent at all. I know. Or I wouldn't have taken the decision at all. I know my people would.
Understand.
Yes, yes. Let me tell you this. Last February this year, when I was asked about the direct contact with Israel? I said no. Well, I'm having the pulse of my people. When I felt that this is the time, I made it. I know, but I didn't imagine at all that it will be like this.
Do you think that if Assad would come to Israel, for instance, the Syrian people would feel the same way?
No. No, they are still living under the era of slogans, and the Ba'ath party really is hated and really is looked upon as a vicious party in the area here.
This is the party that President Assad is.
But let me tell you this. Let me tell you this quite frankly. The Ba'ath party is 2% in Syria. 98% are behind my initiative.
In Syria?
In Syria, yes. Yes.
So it's really only Assad that is...
It is the party, not Assad. The party. Assad himself, he is really a reasonable man. I know him. He's my friend.
He's your friend?
Yes. And very reasonable.
Could you, for instance, let me ask you this. You know my background. Do you think that Assad would see me for such an interview where I could ask him direct questions the same way that I asked
Never.
you?
Never.
You will not?
Never. Never.
So how can you say that he's reasonable?
Very reasonable in the context of his party and
Relative to his party.
and the policy
Yes.
of the party, but very reasonable. And he is the best of them all in the party.
כך סאדת על אסד של אז, ויכול להיות שבשתי המדינות יש הרבה סיבות להתגעגע לימים ההם, בימים האלה.